What's going on, everybody? Today I wanted to review the Vanguard Breaker. I have to say, I absolutely love this knife so far. I got it 6 days ago from DLT Trading. I had the opportunity to carry it throughout the week and carry it throughout last weekend as well. I gotta tell you, it's a fantastic knife, but there's a couple things that I'd like to say about it. First of all, it's a great looking knife. That semi-mirror polished DLC is absolutely insane to me. The fact that this knife is under $300 blows my mind. You never really see any mirror polished blade for that kind of price. Um, and then you have the S35 VN steel, carbon fiber handles, titanium deep carry pocket lip, and titanium backspacer. Backspacer. The fact that that's affordable is insane to me. I bought this personally for $225. That's how much it is for on DLT Trading. So it's not like I got a deal out of it or anything. It's absolutely insane to see all these materials come together and this finish come together and be that affordable. However, with that, in my opinion, comes a couple drawbacks. The first one being the lock. It's a liner lock. I don't mind liner locks. I know some people don't like them at all. Some people prefer them. That's fine. The biggest thing that I don't like about this is when you're closing it, it's a very smooth knife. But you have to have your thumb in such a way to make sure that you're not hurting yourself, because I haven't figured out a way personally to get my thumb out of the way yet. You can see that when I've been playing with it, I've been kind of digging into my thumbnail a little bit there. Another thing that I'm not a huge fan of, well, personally, I don't care, but I know a lot of people look for multiple different ways to open their knife. The only real way to open this one-handed is through the thumb hole. It doesn't have a flipper. It's not a front flipper or anything like that. That doesn't bother me personally, but I know that would bother some people, especially if you're in more rugged conditions. The hard thing for me is something this pretty. It's going to be hard for me to use it. I understand buying a knife. They're meant to be used. They're meant to be beat on. But there's some knives that strictly you have in your collection, if you collect pocket knives, that should, in my opinion, just stay in the drawer or stay in your display case or stay in your curio cabinet. For me, this is probably one of those. Strictly because, like I said, I am a little bit harsher on my knives. Not as harsh as some, but I'm also harder than other people. And scratching this mirror polish would frustrate me. I'm not sure how easy it would be to repair, nor am I 100% confident that I could do that right now, just with my still learning of the process of pocket knives. But on the contrary to that, like I was talking about the liner lock, for collectors, if you want to show it off and you're afraid to cut yourself, then you're going to have to engage the lock and then use two hands and get fingerprints all over the mirror polish. Now, it does clean up really easy with just a microfiber cloth. You can also use some oils, a high alcohol, low, what's the word I'm looking for here? A weaker cleaner is what I was looking for. For example, I use Windex. Some people know that by now. It's just my preferred cleaner. But overall, it's still a fantastic knife to carry for me. I know some people are going to have complaints about the carry profile. Speaking of that, how about we just get into it instead of me talking about it? So first things first, let's start with a couple knives that I would say almost everybody knows. That's the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Shaman. So you can see that it's a little bit shorter than the Spyderco Shaman and a little bit shorter than the Paramilitary 2. So lengthwise, it's great, but that's not what I mean by carry profile. What I mean is look at the difference in thickness between the two. I mean, that's so much thicker than you expect it to be. I mean, I guess the Shaman isn't too much bigger or too much smaller, but it's still at least half an inch thick. Well, let's find out. Okay, let's see. Let's see how thick this is. Hold it straight on so you guys can see. 9/16. I don't know. To me, that's just a little bit thicker than I would imagine some people may like. However, when it comes to actually opening and using it, it's really not that big. I mean, if you compare the PM2 to it, The PM2 is bigger in every way. The blade's bigger, the handle's longer. And so, I mean, it's not that it's a huge knife to carry, but that thickness on the handle is going to turn some people away, and I completely understand that. However, for me personally, that doesn't bother me, so I'm happy carrying this knife. But to some, be aware before you buy the Vanguard breaker. Now let's compare it to the Shaman, just open overall length. See, the Shaman is significantly longer, almost an inch longer, which I love carrying the Shaman. The Shaman has been my favorite everyday carry for a while now. It's been kind of put in the drawer since I got the Demco AD 20.5, which I don't have on me at the moment. But there's a significant size difference when it comes to the overall length. Now, these are two rather sizable knives, but let's look at something a little bigger that people will know, just to get a better idea of a real size comparison here. The Microtech MSI. You can see the MSI blows this out of the water when it comes to overall length. I mean, I want to know. It's over an inch longer, or almost an inch long. No, it's over an inch longer. And the thing about the Microtech MSI, though, it's a little bit lighter to carry with the G10 scales instead of having carbon fiber and aluminum like the Vanguard Breaker. I keep saying Basher. I mean Breaker. It's the Vanguard Breaker. I need to stop being dumb. Anyway, I just did it again. Anyway, yeah, so the Microtech MSI is significantly longer than the Vanguard Breaker. But let's check carrier profile on both. So we'll close up the Breaker, the MSI. I mean, if you're comparing the two, the MSI still is thinner, not by much. It's about where the Shaman is, but that's my biggest complaint, is just how thick this is. But I also like it because you will always feel it in your pocket. You're not going to lose it. I found problems with like the Demco 8020.5. I'm searching my pockets for a second to find it because I have a lot of stuff in my pockets. Now I want to pair one more knife up against the Vanguard Breaker, and then we'll get a little bit more into the materials. The Microtech LUDT Gen 3, which I am shocked is also longer than the Vanguard Breaker. Honestly, I thought this was longer. So that kind of just shows you how not horribly long this knife is. It's just, if you don't like a thicker handle, you might not like this. Just be weary of that. But you can see here, I mean, the Microtech is very thin, which is a reason why I'm a huge fan of it. It's very thin, lightweight. It's got aluminum handles. This is a heavier pocket knife. Unfortunately, I don't have a scale to show the exact ounces. Let me see if I can find the weight real quick. So looking it up really fast, so the Vanguard Breaker weighs a little bit, just barely over 5 ounces. It's 5.04 ounces. To compare, the Spyderco PM2 is 3.75 ounces, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's definitely a difference, especially in a more compact build. Everything's going to be more centralized, so it's going to feel a little bit bigger in your palms. But enough comparison, let's get into the meat potatoes of the blade. Close it up so I don't cut myself. So the pivot is a T8. I checked all this prior to. Pivot's a T8. Backspace is a T8 on both screws. There are 4 body screws in the pivot screw. So super easy to disassemble. Not that I ever plan on disassembling this knife. I don't believe it needs to be oiled, especially with the polish. Because I believe it polishes all the way. Yeah, it's polished all the way back. So there's no real reason to oil this. It's already polished in itself. So it's about as smooth as it's going to get. And not only is it polished, it also runs on bearings instead. So, which is why this is so... Okay, that was horrible. But that's why this is so smooth. Because it drops down and you just... I mean, it is... If I had to put a top 5 list together of my smoothest knives, this would be number 1. Without question. It falls down easy. Super smooth. The detent is great. I do love this knife very much. I think confidently that this knife could take a beating. Now, would I want to put it through certain obstacles to see if it could? Probably not. However, it does have S35 VN steel, which is absolutely phenomenal for something like this. I love the drop point style blade. It's going to be great for poking and cutting, and being able to open boxes and stuff like that. Super great knife. I mean, I would highly recommend this to anybody who's a collector. Maybe not for someone like a construction worker or a carpenter or someone of that nature. But if you just want to collect a nice knife and not spend an arm and a leg, the Vanguard Breaker, hands down, without even questioning it, is one of the best knives you can get to display, to show off to somebody. You know, you find someone who else is a knife collector, this is a great knife to show them. Because it's still got that very reliable, comfortable feel, and it looks great, and it can still do a job if you need it to. The Vanguard Breaker, in my opinion, one of the best knives that I've held so far when it comes to strictly smoothability, ergonomics. The ergonomics are still great, even though it's a little bit of a bigger handle. My hands are a little bigger, so it fits really good in my hand. Overall, I would recommend this knife to any knife collector, just maybe not so much on rugged users. But that is the Vanguard Breaker, in my opinion. That's my breakdown. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm trying to do more knife reviews. That way other people can get an idea of what they want to buy, and also people can see what I have in my collection. Because, of course, I love showing it off. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, not really so much on Facebook, but follow me on TikTok and Instagram under the same handle, Mental Health EDC Guy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.